And I'm proud to be an American. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, but I am shocked they did not play that song throughout the entirety of this movie. I call bullshit. They better play it in the sequel. They did play one of the coolest end of the world songs ever, though. It's the end of the world as we know it. That was awesome. Other than that, guys, what's up? What's going on? It is Autobot Mike 18 here, back with another one of my old movie reviews. Guys, I know it feels like it's been so long since I've done an old movie review, and it has been. It felt like it's almost been 2 weeks. That's why I've already done 6 old movie reviews this summer. I want to get a couple more to you guys before I leave for another week-long break. I want to keep pumping them out for the rest of the end of July and all of August for you guys, because you guys love my old movie reviews, so I keep doing them for you. And I have another special old movie review coming that I wanted to release specifically this weekend in honor of a new movie sequel that is coming out to this movie that I'm going to be reviewing. I'm sorry I don't have the Blu-ray or anything. I didn't watch this movie on Blu-ray, but I did finally, I have watched this movie that came out all the way back in '96. And the movie I'm going to be reviewing today for you guys is Independence Day. That's right, guys. The original Independence Day, released in 1996 and directed by Roland Emmerich. If anybody asks me down below in the comments, Mike, why have you just now seen Independence Day? Well, I will give you the perfect answer as to why I have just now seen it. This movie was released the year I was born. So obviously, I was less than 1 year old when Independence Day came out, and my birthday is early July, so I'm assuming this movie came out the weekend I was born, actually, around Independence Day weekend. So, yeah, I was just coming out of my mother's stomach then. There you have it. And yeah, so I have finally caught up and watched Independence Day, and now I'm finally going to give you my thoughts on it. And the reason why I would have totally reviewed this movie on the 4th of July, like maybe last year or something, or even this 4th of July, I would have released this movie on the day because it's Independence Day. But because Independence Day Resurgence comes out in theaters tomorrow, that's right, I want to get this video up on Thursday, the day before Resurgence comes out. Because Independence Day Resurgence comes out tomorrow, I wanted to review the movie right before Resurgence comes out. So now, not only have I seen Independence Day, I can go see Resurgence, but I'll have my review up before I get my review up for Resurgence. You're welcome. So guys, Independence Day is set in 1996, around the 4th of July weekend. The movie... How am I going to sum up this movie? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Aliens invade Earth. Humans have to fight them and win back their freedom. That's Independence Day. Seriously, guys, all kidding aside, that's the movie. It's a sci-fi fantasy about an alien invasion. There's a lot of destruction, there's a lot of disaster, there's a lot of Jeff Goldblum quips and wit, and that's Independence Day. What else can I say? Aliens invade the Earth in giant-ass spaceships. They're blowing shit up, and the humans have got to stop them. That's your movie. No, that's really Independence Day. So that's all I'm going to say about the premise. That is literally the most basic, non-spoilerific premise I could give for any movie, like, ever, okay, without spoiling anything. And you guys know me, I don't spoil, even in my old movie reviews, even though the fact that this movie is 20 years old already, I will not spoil it. So guys, what did I feel? How did I feel about Independence Day? Well, everybody and their mother has basically seen it, except for me, leading up till now. Until now, I've now seen it. And everybody that I've always talked to who's seen this movie has said they really loved it, or it was one of those movies, it's so dumb, or it's so just like crazy that you just love it anyway. It's so entertaining in that disaster movie sense. So I definitely was looking forward to Independence Day, and I can't help but agree that yes, this movie is absurd. Yes, that there's no way that this is rooted in any sort of realistic sense or any sort of logic whatsoever, because there's no way you're telling me that certain characters are going to do this, and Jeff Goldblum's going to figure all this out, and they're going to do this and do that. And I don't think that you're supposed to take this movie 100% seriously, and I can't see any critics sitting there saying, I don't like Independence Day because that doesn't make sense. That would never really happen. It's a sci-fi fantasy movie. People have fun with it. As an alien invasion movie, Independence Day kicked ass. I really enjoyed it, and I had a blast with it. I thought it was really fun. I enjoyed these characters. I enjoyed seeing destruction and explosions and everything, and celebrating patriotism for the 4th of July. All in one movie. I loved it. I gotta tell you guys, right off the bat, from the opening scene alone, you have one guy in this, like, NASA-esque control room, whatever. He's singing, he's playing mini golf in this room, and the song on the radio that's playing is "It's the End of the World as We Know It." That immediately established the tone for this movie, and immediately told me, okay, this movie's going to be absurd. Have at it, okay? That was the best opening scene to establish a movie like this ever, okay? Because right from that scene alone, I'm like, okay, they're not taking themselves seriously with this. There's no way they are. So I absolutely had fun with it from here on in. But looking at this movie as a serious, not serious, as a movie, here's what I'm going to say about Independence Day. I actually really cared about almost all of the characters that were involved in this plot, starting and not ending with Jeff Goldblum. I loved him in this movie. I thought he was great. Yes, he was intelligent, and he was totally above every other person in this movie, and he wasn't an idiot. He knew what he was doing. He knew how to actually, like, step up and do something about these aliens, and he knew something that basically all of them didn't. He's a smart, intelligent cable repairman, and I loved how he's like the common everyday man rising up, and now he's the one who's like, okay guys, listen, we got a serious problem here. Aliens are going to start wrecking shit up. We need to take evasive action right now. And I loved him in this movie. I thought he was funny. I thought he gave several funny lines. It's Jeff Goldblum. He's great, okay? But I really cared about his character because of how they tied his past into him as a kid. I love how he's not really taken seriously because of how he acted with his wife in the past and the president. How he doesn't completely get along with the president for very specific reasons. I thought all that worked really well. I loved the relationship between him and his father, played by Judd Hirsch. I thought that was really cool in this movie. I loved how his father was around for the whole adventure, and he wasn't one of those I'm just the comic relief. I'm just going to crack a joke every 5 minutes because I have to. You know, he actually showed support for his son and thus propelled Jeff Goldblum's character throughout the movie, and I really liked that whole relationship and dynamic. I thought that was really, really cool. Will Smith, on the other hand, I thought also was a really cool and charming presence in this movie, as Will Smith is. I mean, he didn't give us Will Smith After Earth Will Smith. He gave us Independence Day, fun, lovable, charming Will Smith. Will Smith. My only problem with him was that he came in, I felt, too late into the movie. I would have introduced Will Smith maybe 10 minutes earlier. He came in around the 25-minute, 30-minute mark, and at that time, I was like, okay, I want Will Smith, and he came in, and I was like, all right, it's about time. But I enjoyed his whole dynamic as well. He's this captain, he's in the Marines or whatever, and obviously when the aliens attack, he's got to get called into work, and he's got shit to take care of. And I love how Will Smith interacts with these aliens when he first encounters them. It's so funny and humorous. I love the memorable lines that he says when he first encounters them. I thought that was really cool. And I love how he also has stuff riding on the line for him in the name of his wife, I think played by Vivica A. Fox, who's a stripper in this movie. And he has his own son, her son in this case, and I thought that really worked as well. I even bought Bill Pullman as the president. He was that kind of like stoic, like laid back, you know, president. Like, oh, I'm not that emotional. I'm not gonna get that like into the story, into the heat of the action. But he was a president that actually did shit. He didn't just stay back and watch everything unfold. He got into the thick of the action. He made the hard decisions, and all of this is coming into how good the performances are, number one, and number two, how good I think the writing is on a character basis. Because I think that in disaster movies like these, it's so easy for you to just get bewildered by all the destruction and the explosions and the houses falling apart, alien blaster guns blowing shit up. It's so easy to just say, yeah, like, this is so cool. I'm just so amazed by all this. I don't want to give a crap about humans. But when you have human characters you actually care about who are trying to thwart the alien threat, I think that that's a really cool thing, and it's good to have characters you actually give a shit about in these types of movies. So good job to the screenwriter for actually creating characters that were memorable and actually did important things to the script. So I enjoyed that aspect of this movie. Moving on, I also felt that the script just didn't really give the humans room to breathe. Like, they never caught a break in this movie until probably the final, 15, 20 minutes of the movie. The entire movie is literally beat after beat of them trying to attack the aliens, but because of these giant shields they have up, there's no way they're going to get to fire any missiles or anything, or rockets or anything like that, or nukes at one point. They have their asses handed to them. Like, they are screwed, essentially. And I think it's when you have a group of characters, or in this case the humans, and they're so beat down, they have nothing else going for them, essentially, they're just defenseless. I think that makes the story all that more exciting for you to get to that payoff of they gotta attack these aliens and wreck shit up, they gotta kill them somehow, they gotta find their weaknesses, and that's where our side characters, our main characters come into play, like Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith, and I think that worked incredibly well with this movie. All the pieces fit into the puzzle of this disaster movie, this B-movie disaster movie. It's outrageous, it's absurd, but it is so fun and entertaining at the same time. I think that the special effects work for a 1996 movie was also very, very good. I thought the ships looked cool, the blaster rifle shots, like the blue blaster, the colored blaster shots I thought looked pretty cool for the most part. I think they used practical effects for one of the specific spaceships in the movie, so I thought that was pretty cool. But I would think most of the rest of the movie is CGI, and it does look good. It doesn't look like bad or cringy or anything like that. The explosions sure as hell looked amazing. I thought that was really, really cool. I mean, there's one point when, literally Armageddon is raining down from these ships, and they are just blowing shit up at, every major part of the world in the U.S., and it's just amazing. So I think Roland Emmerich did a great job behind the camera as well. I think overall, I'm not a huge fan of his movies. I like Roland Emmerich. I like his movies, but I don't love them, you know what I mean? I really like Independence Day. I wouldn't say I love it. It's one of my favorites because of it is absurd, but I did have fun with it, and I did enjoy it, and that's ultimately what I always say when I come out of a Roland Emmerich movie. Yeah, it wasn't that great, but I enjoyed it. 2012, White House Down. Basically said the same thing with all those movies. I haven't seen Day After Tomorrow or 10,000 BC or Stargate or anything like that, but I have seen 3 of his movies now, and I am soon going to see Independence Day Resurgence, and hopefully he'll do a sequel justice. I hope. I really hope. But the guy knows how to give us a good destruction movie, destruction porn. He's right up there with Michael Bay. He is, in terms of blowing shit up. He is. He's just the only one who doesn't use white fireworks like Bay does, and everybody hates that because they do. No, all seriousness, I think he did a good job directing the movie. I think the soundtrack was cool. I think that the pacing was good. I bought this movie as a 2.5-hour movie. I didn't feel it was really slow or anything. My only problems with the film lie within the fact that there is one human character I didn't all that much care about. I felt that needed either more or less emphasis, or no, he could have just been taken out of the movie completely, and I would have been fine. Because by the time this one character, it's this drunk farmer pilot who claims to have been kidnapped by aliens 10 years prior. It's that character. He has a bunch of kids. I liked the character. I didn't love the character because we didn't get enough of him. By the time he does something in the end of the movie against the aliens, I was like, okay, I never really totally cared for him anyway, but whatever. So there was that one thing that fell out of it for me. And the only one other reason why I wouldn't say this is just the perfect B disaster movie ever is the fact that I wanted to see more of the aliens, actually. I honestly felt that's the biggest problem with this movie. We didn't get enough of them. And I really hope that's something they improve upon with Independence Day Resurgence, because that's something I would totally be down for, actually seeing more prosthetic, alien invaders, you know what I mean? They're the invaders. Yeah, their ships are big, they're badass, they're blowing shit up, but that's not enough for me. I wanted to see the actual aliens. By the time we actually do in this movie, I think it was too little too late. Like, I wanted shots with them earlier. Like, I wanted to see them, like, maybe communicating with each other. I know that's, like, stereotypical, but the humans have so much stacked against their plate. They are so screwed with these giant ships. I wanted to see who was manning these ships. I really felt that we needed more emphasis of the aliens as an antagonist, because you feel it from just by looking at their ships alone. Imagine had we actually seen them behind the ships making plans with each other or something. I honestly think they could have cut down maybe a few human characters in this movie and focused even more on the villain of the alien mass as a whole. And I think ultimately Independence Day would have been even better than it was. But I still enjoyed myself with it. I'm still going to give it a really good grade. In the end, I'm going to give Independence Day a solid 8.5 out of 10 or a B. I had fun with it, guys. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. It's not rooted in any logic whatsoever. I don't buy half of it, but I totally am a fan of it, and I had a blast with it. It is fun. It's entertaining. It's patriotic, so there you go. That's reason enough. That's it. I'm done with this review. So, guys, there you have it. What did you guys think of Independence Day? Let me know down below in the comments. And because Independence Day Resurgence comes out tomorrow, what do you guys... How excited are you guys for Resurgence? Do you think it's going to be better than the first or worse than the first movie? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching my reviews. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.